Don says, okay, then I will ask this one. Can you tell us the purpose of the frontal lobes of the brain and the conditions necessary for their activation? It's a good one. Ra says in question 13, the frontal lobes of the brain will, shall we say, have much more use in 4 density. The primary mental emotive condition of this large area of the so-called brain is joy, or love, in its creative sense. Thus, the energies which we have discussed in relationship to the pyramids, all of the healing, the learning, the building, and the energizing, are to be found in this area. This is the area tapped by the adept. This is the area which, working through the trunk and root of mind, makes contact with intelligent energy, and through this gateway, intelligent infinity. Woo! Beautiful. Okay, so frontal lobe activation. This is the mystical experience. This is the mystical living, which you sort of energize. You see, the frontal lobe is usually characterized in studies and research as being activated by the mystical experience. Like, say, Joe Dispenza has a lot of research in this. Now, I have my theory, which I will try to share here, if it makes sense. Joe Dispenza actually relates them to the 7 energy centers and how, he has chakra meditation and all of that good stuff. Great work by Joe Dispenza, by the way. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with his work, so I won't expand much on him. But highly recommend it, of course, if you don't know. And so you see the frontal lobe activation. Most of us who were brought up in a system, and this is what Joe Dispenza actually works with, regular people who are trying to achieve these states of the mystical experience. Now, my theory is the following. You are, let's say, the undeveloped entity. That doesn't mean undeveloped spiritually, but undeveloped in the sense that hasn't, like me, for example. I'll give you my example. I was not into any of this stuff, any of spiritual development and so on, or mysticism. And I started developing an interest in all of this. Now, my mystical experiences at first were very intense, and they were, as it were, energy flowing through my energy centers that were very intense and very powerful. Over time, what I felt has become more common ground, let's say. That doesn't mean mundane in the sense of the word that it's just ordinary, but ordinary in the sense that it's just common, for me to perceive the world as beautiful, as unity, as looking at things, because these concepts started to get, I'm a more mental guy than heart, but my mind opens the heart, whereas for some people the heart opens the mind, in the intellectual way, I mean. And so for these concepts have become more part of my own vision of life. So these frontal lobes are activated even more as you become more, let's say, unified with reality. Let's just put it that way. You stop accepting more, increasing tolerance, which is not a word I like too much, but increasing that acceptance. The more you accept yourself, then you see what they say, the primary mental emotive condition of this large area is joy or love. So the more you love, well, the more your primary mental condition or your primary mental emotive condition of the frontal lobes will be activated. Does that make sense? I mean, just from there you can take it. It makes sense when Ra says that this will be much more used in 4 density. Well, we are in 4 density already, so we have, I'm assuming they mean more the early 4 density as we divest ourselves from the physical body, which is the first stages of 4 density, which, by the way, we're doing now. And so it will be more relevant or more used in 4 density, because 4 density is, guess what? Love and understanding. That is the density of love. But if we open here as a human more our heart, acceptance of everything, which is called, again, tolerance, I don't like the word tolerance because it's indicating already that there is something intolerable. So I don't know. I have my quarrels with it. But it's just acceptance, unconditional acceptance of everything. Just open-hearted. You will have a life more mystic, a mystic life, which is not reserved to those yogis and so on. Obviously, they live from their frontal lobe. They just live in full acceptance. And love it seems to be like a side effect of just living life from here. So, yeah, I think this makes sense in that connection that I'm making of love being the one that is the primary mental emotive condition of the frontal lobes is love in its creative sense. So artists are, of course, they work from this sense because they get into that zone. That doesn't mean that artists are mystics in and of themselves, but they work from this area. If anything, artists could use a little bit more wisdom, I would say. Not judging. I'm just saying that artists create from love. Everything that they make is love based. So they could use some balancing. Possibly. Okay? Just throwing it out there. Just like scientists could use a little bit more love. You see what I mean? So the art of science. That is the perfect marriage. In any case, Ra says, for those of you who missed the pyramids already, I know one of you do. So, yeah, I forgot the name of your username, but I know you love pyramids. So, here you go. In relationship to the pyramids, these energies of healing, learning, building, and energizing are to be found in this area. That makes sense. As I have connected the pyramids to the energy centers, then you can see it here in the term of healing, which is lower energy centers, learning and building, which to me may be more heart mind, and then the energizing, which is the top of the pyramid, the apex, that the tip of the pyramid. This is the area which, working through the trunk, they're still talking about the frontal lobes. This is the area which, working through the trunk and root of mind, makes contact with intelligent energy. And through this gateway, intelligent infinity. So, the frontal lobe being the heart mind. This is the heart mind that it's called in Chinese Shin, or if I remember correctly, Kokoro in Japanese, which is the heart mind, our processes of looking at the world from this connection of heart chakra and throat chakra. So when we do this work, right, this is the area tapped by the adept, because the adept is the one that is looking for intelligent energy. Working through the trunk and root of the mind. The trunk is your intuition. The root of the mind is your subconscious. Makes contact with intelligent energy, indigo ray. Through this gateway, indigo ray, intelligent infinity. So this is how things work in the brain to manifest this contact with intelligent infinity.